Enough is enough! I have had it!
Why so serious?
And we hold the world ransom for
Wayne Gandy.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Show me the money.
Broadcasting live from the Armada FM studios in Atlanta, Georgia. This is the Sports Joc Show with Wayne Gandy.
Something going on. You do something.
Now play the song that really will get me hyped, because you that made me want to go back to sleep right there. That is some Kenny Rogers. I'm going to introduce myself in just a second, but I got to come in a little hotter than that. You can't take the stage, can you? To something like that, can you, Big Kenny? No? Oh, that is an upgrade. Good morning. Welcome. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. You're listening to the Sports Joc Show. It is August the 24th. Virgos can start having their birthdays. You selfish. Only think about yourself. Oh, no. Oh, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. You beautiful, loving, cherished people, you Virgos. Welcome to the Sports Joc Show. We are here. We are live. It's Atlanta, Georgia. It is 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm here with Big Kenny, the funny man himself, and the truth. I will bring them on in just a second. Everybody's back in school, colleges, high schools. Go back to school, get an education, make something of yourself before you do your reality TV show. Yeah, I said it. Get a degree, then do the show, then use that to burn your degree and make a lot of money. They call it the Kardashian effect. Take a lot of selfies and send them out of your naked body. Yeah, that's how it is. I'm gay. I like to just start off the show like that, so that'll get me more listeners. I'm also transgender, if that will let me get some more listeners. But I will not say I'm an atheist, because that might send me to hell from my beliefs. So I'm just going to go with the gay, and then I'm going to go with the transgender. And hopefully Big Kenny will tweet that out. We'll get at least 3 more Jareds per week, because, you know, Jared is our greatest listener. He might listen more than my mom. I don't even have that much. You know, my mom kind of hit the replay because she falls asleep. You know, when you're 70, you only can listen at an hour at a time. So anything soft and low puts you to sleep when you're that age. I even find myself can barely have to sit on the floor to stay up. Get on the couch, man. It's got to replay that movie. Thank God for rewind, because you fall asleep, as you always will as you get older. But we are here. We have a great show for you. Took a trip up to Nashville, Tennessee, dropped some people off. Good old Nashville, the home of the Titans. Marcus Mariota having a better day out on the field yesterday, or this weekend, excuse me. We're going to talk about Jordy Nelson and his injuries. We got some Subway people, eat fresh. Yeah, I can't even use that. Eat fresh. That's a later down. That's 11 o'clock joke. We'll start with that. Eat fresh. But we got to talk about that. My man Chris Carter is trying to call up the Fall Guy. I guess he remembering when he was 20 and the Fall Guy was like the top show on TV. A lot of people don't remember the Fall Guy back in the day. About the mid-'80s, they had Steve Austin, the guy that played Steve. What was that guy's name? Lee Majors. He was the Fall Guy. Show was about a stunt man who just happened to have a best friend and a partner who wore tight shorts, the Daisy Dukes. As we found out that you need a little more than she had to fill the Daisy Dukes out. But back then, it was scandalous TV when she would jump out of the car in those Daisy Dukes. But we're going to find out who's the fall guy around here. I got a lot of participants. I know I can get some guys around here to do some time for me. Yeah, they'll do. Emil will get me at least 3 years from. He said he got some years to waste. You can. The fall guy. Come on, Chris Carter. You and your tears. But we got that and much more coming up. Miss Erica Ash in the 11 o'clock hour went out to see Survivor's Remorse. The first 2 episodes down at the cinema. Most of the cast was there. Actually, everybody was there except the guy that plays Cam Calloway. He wasn't there, but the rest of the stars were there. It was a great. The premiere of the show was Saturday, but this was Thursday night. It was a nice event. They even gave us free Coke and popcorn. Now, that seems a little to most of you, but you know those prices. That was about a $12 value right there. That ain't no joke. That's for real food. That's a date for that small popcorn and Coke. But it was a nice event. Thank you for bringing us out. She was looking all lovely. Like she had like some cocoa butter or baby oil, like her grandmama had greaser of her skin was shining. I don't know how y'all get that look. I'm quite sure they have it in some kind of spray for women. They just put it all over themselves. But she was shining and looking great. I love the show. The show, is based loosely on what LeBron brought to the to heirs as far as what happens when a player becomes bigger than he was at some point. And Erica plays his sister on the show, Mike Epps. I won't give any of the show away so people can watch it. It is a funny thing. Me and him have a thing about dogs, so I love one of the scenes that he had in there. But we'll talk to her and much more on the show today. Before I bring my co-host on, it is the 10th anniversary of Katrina. I've seen a lot of you people out there with your specials. None of you were down there. Stop hypothesizing about what went on. I was actually part of the Saints at that time. I lost my baby, my CL600 to the flood. They had to total it for mildew. It's tough. I love that car. I used to just like go sit in her and hang out sometimes. Just me and her, about how her hand stitched leather made me a better player. But, I lost my they shipped us down to San Antonio. We played that season down there. For you people that don't remember your history, this was 2005. The city of New Orleans is still trying to get back on its feet. I know they're going to bring probably Drew Brees, Sean Payton. Those people came after the storm. They keep having those people talk about it, but they were not losing their vehicles and their homes because they were not part of that team. They came the next year after they got rid of Jim Haslett and Aaron Brooks. But it was a eye-opening experience to be part of that. For most of us, we've never really been part of some kind of natural disaster. Here in Atlanta, we think a couple of power lines down and a little ice. We swear that's just a day. You can stay home. People act like they can't stay home for 12 hours and let the ice melt. But down there, people were actually dying and having their whole life turned upside down. I know they estimated around 100,000 people even moved to Atlanta. The mayor of New Orleans was even in town asking still 10 years later for a lot of the New Orleans people to come back. Because a lot of people still haven't went back down there. But 10-year anniversary, Hurricane Katrina. And since then, about every 6 months, somewhere around the world, there's been some kind of big catastrophe. That seems like the spark of something. I mean, it's everywhere. Every country from, what was that, Nepal or somewhere with the 8,000 Himalayas a couple of months ago, the earthquake and things like that. So it's been going on. But 10 years, Katrina. Shout out to that team that went through that. The conditions, I think we won 3 games that year. I felt like that probably was the best Saints team I had. We were looking actually maybe going 10-6 But when they moved us, it was crazy. We were getting ice in garbage cans and things like that. We had like 2 benches in the parking lot under a tent, so we couldn't lift weights. We changed practice fields about 4 times. I mean, it was just a mess. It was hard to try to figure out how to win a football game. And we only had 2 games in San Antonio, so we had 14 games where we had to get on a plane, because even our home games were out of Baton Rouge. So we would have to leave San Antonio, fly to Baton Rouge, stay at a 2-level. It was like a Comfort Inn, and it was tough. They were having weddings at the bottom. You can't get no sleep. It was tough to try to win some games, but the team made it through and made us better men as far as appreciating people, going over and watching the people having to live in hangars and stuff like that and passing out meals. Really lets you appreciate what God sometimes has blessed you with in my life. So I'm going to bring my co-host on before we run out of time, and I know they got a lot to say today. Chi-Town's finest, as I said, if you didn't know, he turned down the first membership to the Vice Lords.
You're going to get me in trouble. Keep saying the Vice Lords, cuz. Good morning, Sports Joc. I would just like to say, since we're getting more listeners, you say you gay and transgender. I'm saying politicians are stupid and deport Mexicans. So that ought to get us at least 30 million more supporters, and I might be president. So how you doing today?
I'm doing great, and the truth is in the building, Miss Renee Jemison. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. Glad to be here.
We both learned that you only need a 1.7 to qualify for college sports.
That's it. 1.7 GPA, and you too can play any sport you want in college.
Go. They have dropped it to a 1.7, and I was amazed. Isn't that a D?
That's a D.
So that's how far our college system has.
And most players are like, dang, I ain't even gonna make it.
I don't think they can read the playbook.
I ain't even gonna make it.
We'll be right back. 888-926-7562. More of the Sports Joc Show in just a second.
Now, it's time to present the Joc of the Week on the Sports Joc Show, where we highlight an exceptional athlete that has taken their game to the next level.
Welcome to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. I'm sitting here with the Truth and Big Kenny. As we went to break, we were talking about GPAs going up to Tennessee State University. I found out that all you have to do through your freshman year is make a 1.7. After that, you have to hold a 1.9. I thought you had to make a 2.3 to even get into college, so I don't know how it went down to
the bottom. It just cannot go any lower. Like a 1.7 is a D. I mean,
yes.
Seriously, to play a sport in college.
No.
Yes.
It's correction. I believe a 1.7 is all D. That's not a D.
You know
that is all D.
That is true.
Meaning that you are mediocre across the board. You're
consistent.
Well, even lower
bad.
you're even lower than mediocre, because mediocre is a couple C minuses and a D, but
you're bad.
D, all D's.
You got a lot of seeds. A lot of seeds in you, from what I hear. If you a D, right?
A lot of seeds.
Seeds.
Oh yeah, I guess.
No,
I don't know.
When it has seeds in it, doesn't it? That's bad.
Oh, that's that Reggie. You are the Bobby Brown of students. you the regular weed of students when you get all D's.
But it was very fascinating to learn that fact that that's all that's required after. So when you see somebody failed out of academic suspension or something, when you see that, this is what they're saying.
That they're not even breathing.
And something tells me that has to be just you're not going to class. You can't tell me that you can't keep a D. That means you're just not going to class.
And what happens with regular students? So, it could be that there's hope out there for those of you sitting on your sofa. You can still go to college.
You're sitting there doing nothing anyway.
Exactly. You may as
make the call.
So a 1.7 is a C minus according to
it's a D.
NCAA. Okay. Letter grade point scale. So that C minus is a 1.7 GPA. A 2.0 is a C.
Yeah. This is that new
math.
This is that new board.
New math.
When they changed it to let people get higher grades, and it's 1.3 is a D plus, 1.7 is a C minus,
or 6 months on punishment.
Yes,
that's amazing.
That is amazing, but that is the chart, and hopefully,
I think that partially what that says to me is that institutions of higher learning are willing to let students come to their institution and play sports to help them generate money and to be able to fill the stadiums and the arenas, but they don't really care about the education part. Look, that's on you. If you leave here and get on a reality show, then more power to you. But as long as you can fill up the stands and help us win games, then we're satisfied.
And we will pay for you to be here because these students are on scholarship.
Yeah, so, because we will pay for you to be here as long as it pays off for us. Because I can't imagine
the American way
that you would be able to get a degree with a 1.7.
Who cares?
And even if you were able to get a degree, I can't imagine a corporation looking at that resume and going, "Cuz this is the dude."
And that's what
for us, because look, he's super stupid, but he ran a 4.5. I mean, and obviously you're not fast enough to get in the NFL because you went to corporate America. You see what I'm saying? So this dude is marginal, super across the board, where he can't get into professional sports, and he's not really smart enough to get a job. So what does he do?
And I know my experience is guys just didn't go to class. It wasn't. They were not even trying. They would just still be at the tunk table at 7 a.m. and ask you for a copy of the homework.
Well, the bar is low. Who needs to go to class if all you need is a 1.7? That right instructor will just give you what you need, and you can still play spades all day in the student union.
Well, speaking of low and grades and ages, Jared Fogle, Subway, eat fresh, veggie sandwich, breakfast. Meatball sub.
Is it too late? Is it too early for an eat fresh joke?
He says it is.
It is. Looking at the mediocre producer, looking at Mr. 1.7 across the table. He's finna tell me. He's finna tell me when to fling out an inappropriate child sex abuse joke.
You get a pass on Monday.
Is that what I'm about to understand?
37-year-old Jared Fogle, 15 years as the Subway pitchman. He began this by losing 200 pounds, which he attributed to being able to, he kept his calorie count by going to get Subway sandwiches and would get the appropriate, because most people have an issue with doing that. Where do I keep finding this 8-ounce chicken breast with this half a cup of white rice? So he would just go and get the 600-calorie sub sandwich and eat that. He has been pleaded guilty, not just found guilty. He pleaded guilty to child pornography and also for having sexual intercourse with underage children and underage prostitutes. He traveled a couple of times to even see these young ladies. He would have older prostitutes even find him younger prostitutes, so he would have the 18-year-old find him some 14-year-olds. He has become a household name really for not doing anything but losing weight, but we know in this country health is one of the biggest businesses. Half the magazines at what they used to call bookstores were health books, and it is a craze. Everybody has a quick diet. It's a way to make money. He made his name from that. Big Kenny, truth. I have said on this show many a times when we talk about people coming out the closet, there's a lot of things that we actually found out about a lot of other people we would be more disgusted about than, because there's nothing lower than a child rapist. Can we get a?
Yeah.
Can y'all think
Amen.
of something
We can
that
get
is?
an amen on that.
Yeah, it ain't nothing. I don't know anything more horrific than
Yeah,
some
don't mess with the
40-year-old
babies.
man messing with some
A baby.
10-year-old.
A baby.
I mean, we don't have to even make him 40. I'm saying, let's not raise the bar to 1.7, shall we? Let us not lower the bar. I'm saying once you are past the age of 6, being attracted to 6-year-olds is very, very horrible.
Right.
But now we know why Subway added milk to the menu. So. That was probably Jared's suggestion. Like we need more stuff for the kids. We need more kids.
He's looking at a 12.5 year max sentence, they say, for his crimes. I guess that's part of the plea deal. They're saying that probably that's about the max he will get in this, no less than 5 years. I would have thought it would have been
Death.
Yeah, I thought it was like,
Death.
I'll see you when you're 65 for a parole hearing or something like that. But right now, I guess the pleading and keeping them from having to do all that other stuff bought him a lot of favor. He found himself in trouble because the man who ran his foundation was caught first.
Russell
And we have told you for as long as we've been on the air, snitching is the new life. So now if your friend gets caught, you might as well start making preparations. So his friend who runs his foundation got caught with child pornography. I'm quite sure he's probably free today. Hey, I got somebody. I got a big fish. I got a guy that's in the national news that I can give you. He gave up Jared. They raided his house. They took his computers and everything to find a lot of information. Which led them to, I think New York was one of the cities where they were able to find even prostitutes that was ready to tell that he would solicit them and then ask them. I guess the 18-year-old's like, oh, I ain't young enough. You want me to go find you a 13-year-old.
There was actually
which all those people need to go to jail.
Right. There was actually a woman who worked with him in his foundation that he opened up to about being attracted to children, and she went to the FBI and for 4 years supplied them with information and even wore a wire to record him having these conversations and making these requests, and they were able to track his movements and everything through their inside source. So he had been setting himself up for quite some time before they actually busted
And that
him.
foundation was the beginning of it all. I understand the guy, Mr. Taylor, who went to prison first, the foundation paid his salary. 60% of all the revenues from the foundation went to his salary. They never, ever paid out a grant. The organization was supposed to fund some healthy living and programs in schools, and so that was a scam as well.
And Jerry Sandusky somewhere like, I told you not to start the foundation. Because it's always the foundation that'll bring you down.
And I even read that the Taylor man was like making child pornography.
Yeah,
like
he was in
he
it big.
wasn't just
I
like
think he taught
watching it or renting or whatever they do. He was actually making the
You're aging yourself.
I
They said
forgot
renting.
blockbuster clothes. I don't know how you get it. Like, there's no red box. I don't know how you get it.
Not for vivid videos.
Hey, I was about to say, trust me, if you're a grown man with a little kid, there probably will be.
No.
Too early.
Yeah.
Too early.
You're crossing the line.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's a big surprise.
The cheerleader that was sentenced, Sarah Jones, who's the Cincinnati Bengals cheerleader, she has been sentenced for raping a 15-year-old, but it's like 20 weekends or something. It's not even. See, men get no love. That little boy is scarred. 32-year-old woman climbing on top of him and has scarred him for life.
Mike Vick got 5 years for not being around when a dog got drowned, and Jared touched little kids, and he's getting 5 years minimum.
12.5 max. 5 minimum.
Best thing about it, he's going in the general population, though, which means that he'll still be able to get his foot longs.
Well, no, Sarah.
We'll be back more of the Sports Joc Show. 888-926-7562. He gonna get all he wants.
Really can. Really.
With the mayonnaise.
In the red zone.
I think very
4 seconds, a teacher will begin to speak.
I think very deep.
Let us begin. What, where, why, or when will all be explained like instructions to a game.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. As we left, we were talking about Subway. You may remember, Jared Fogle lost 200 pounds. I'm quite sure he'll drop another 50 in prison. Probably a lot of workouts in prison. A lot of push-ups and stuff like that. The obesity in America, I got this, 1/3 of adults 20 and older in the U.S. are obese. The report says they broke it down to blacks, Hispanics, whites, and Asians in our country. The fattest category is black women. 56.6% of black women are obese. Black men, 37%. Hispanics, 44% of women, 40% of men. Whites, 33% of women, 32% of men. And Asians, who reign supreme. They must not be eating any of that stuff that we call Asian food.
No, that dog meat is lean.
Asian women, only 11.5% are obese, and only 10% of the men are obese. So you might want to
Why are
buy
we so
some
fat?
As a country.
Yeah.
I think that we like to grab and go, and most of the things that you can grab and go are fattening. And when you think about it, most of us, our mind is that way. We don't want to. We would rather get something. At least one of your meals in the day for most people is something you grab and go. When you say most people, it's
most people.
Yes.
As a person who lost a significant amount of weight, that was one of the first things that I stopped doing was eating fast food. So in any capacity, no anything from a fast food place. And then if you ever go to an Asian restaurant, look on the menu and find one thing that adds cheese to it. They don't have anything with cheese, like the General Tso's chicken with cheese. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah, they only have those. What are they that I never order?
Crab
ragoon thing
with cream cheese in it.
Yeah.
Right.
No boy.
And nobody really likes it.
Nobody really eats that anyway, except for fat people who come in and go,
I gotta have some.
Let me have some of that. Let me have some broccoli and rice.
And I think Asians
with some crab ragoon, extra sauce,
gravy. Asians, I think, genetically too have the advantage that their metabolisms are different, and they just aren't prone to get.
Because they're all kung fu masters.
And I will say this, as most of you know, and if you don't, you need to read or Google. Women are predisposed to be fatter than men. Most women, they're going to carry their weight in their hips,
yes,
in their butts,
yes,
and them fatty arms that y'all like.
Yes,
that's when y'all get that thing,
that waddle
right there. So
yeah,
be proud of the face.
Yeah,
when you get to your trainer today, those are the areas.
It's
whether you like the exercise or not. That's what you need to tell him, because that's where women are more, because it's for
childbearing.
It's for childbearing,
and birth you.
Women are, they're supposed to store fat for breeding and milk and all that kind of
like heifers. Make them sound like heifers. Round them up in the pasture
and then feed them some cheese.
And then feed them, and we gonna all impregnate them, and they drop a couple calves, and we can milk them. Then we gonna put them back out to pasture, get us some younger ones. But listen, for the African American women who are hearing this and are in a rush to drop that weight in their hips, Kim Kardashian's doing it in the reverse. So you're going to find yourself alone if you come home a little too thin. That's all I'm saying.
Keep that black girl booty.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
One other crime case was Oscar Pistorius, the South African amputee, double amputee, runs the 400. As you may or may not remember, back on Valentine's Day 2013, he shot through the door of his bathroom and murdered his girlfriend, Riva Steenkamp. They found him guilty. He has been serving a 10-month sentence. He was supposed to be released. The judge, I guess, finally somebody stood up and said, "Nah, hold on. This just been too short. I haven't even been able to get it back into my winter gear, and you're getting out of prison for murder." So they halted that release date for right now, and he's supposed to have another trial date in a couple of weeks. I don't know how long the judge can block it. The sentence was only like 18 months anyway. So, but they're going to review the case. But he was supposed to get out in like 2 weeks, right after Labor Day, which I think all of us are astonished. As Big Kenny said, Mike Vick did 2 years, and he wasn't even
he wasn't even there.
He wasn't even there.
He was on a plane at the time. And
for drowning dogs,
right.
And this man who says that he thought it was a home invader who just happened to go in the bathroom and close the door, because you know that's what home invaders do.
They get up in the middle of the night and use the bathroom.
We keep so many valuables in the bathroom that that is the first place you look. Murdered his girlfriend, got off in a sense, basically got off. I mean, you can get that kind of time for just shooting a gun in the air. He actually killed somebody.
And didn't serve all of his 5 years. And the Steenkamps, her parents, are coming out against that verdict, of course. And they said that a lot of the information that the court received wasn't true. They understand that she got mad, went to the bathroom, and he came in and deliberately, of course, shot her. So he's free.
He will be free. And from what I read, he has some rich uncle who says he can do the house arrest at his estate.
Well, that'll be nice. Saltwater pool and stuff.
Yeah. he could just come bounce around my place.
Here locally, the head coach of the Hawks, Mike Budenholzer, his trial date has been set for October the 8th. He was driving last year, driving under the influence. He pleaded not guilty. He will go to trial for that, and we'll see how that works out. All right, ready to move on? Maurice Claret.
Speaking of crime.
So
we just on a little crime tangent here.
Maurice Claret, for you that don't know, he was the Johnny Manziel for about a year back at Ohio State. He won the national championship. He was a running back. He was drafted, played for the Broncos. He's now 31 years old. He has spent 4.5 years in prison. He is out. He's on the speaking circuit, going around to a lot of the colleges, Florida State, Alabama, TCU, some of your top programs, trying to direct kids to clean their life up and go in the right way. Don't be like him. I don't think that it takes a genius for a kid to, try to figure out how not to do 4.5 years in prison. But he's trying to use his life story, Big Kenny Truth. Born and raised, I think he grew up with LeBron James, was part of his story. They were childhood friends in Akron.
Definitely took different paths.
Yeah, they're not even similar.
I wonder if they're still friends.
We can say that one went this way, the other one went a totally different direction. Right?
Maybe LeBron will produce his movie or something now.
Maybe.
The Maurice Claret story. There's money in there, or maybe use some of his storyline in his in the survivor's remorse situation. Be something good to write in there, help him out. But he has been traveling around and trying to share his story. Speaking of sharing stories, Chris Carter, as I said, if you got the wake-up call, he was talking at the Rookie Symposium. I went to the Rookie Symposium, and I spoke about 3 times in this same format where they like to bring in ex-players and tell your story. For you that don't know Chris Carter, he is a Hall of Famer now. He played for the Eagles and the Vikings. Most of his career with the Vikings, his first 3 years in the league was a lot of turmoil. He was a cokehead. basically kind of fell out the league, was suspended a couple of times. He did get his life on track when he got to Minnesota. He has since went on to play about 15 more years after that, Hall of Fame. He's not shy about telling you about it. He loves to talk. He loves to talk. He was at the Rookie Symposium last year, 2014, and he told the guys that they need to find a fall guy. Let's hear Chris Carter before we go to break.
Google where you ask questions. Warren and Chris is where you get answers.
And just in case y'all not gonna decide to do the right thing, if y'all got a crew, you got to have a fall guy in the crew. Teddy, come here, man. Teddy, come here, man. Come here, man. Come here, bro. Come here. Now, if they gonna keep rolling on Teddy's bankroll, because each one of y'all in business for yourself. This right here is Teddy Bridgewater Inc.
Incorporated.
That's him. Now, every dime that come into Teddy, all right, is going to be earned by him and this body. All right? Now, I let my homeboys know. Y'all want to keep rolling like this? Then I need to know who's going to be the fall guy, who's going to be driving, because y'all not going to all do the right stuff now, all right? So I got to teach y'all how to get around all this stuff, too. If you're going to have a crew, one of them fools got to know he going to jail. We'll get him out.
We'll get him out.
That is Chris Carter, the Hall of Famer. He's on stage with Warren Sapp. We know how great of post-careers that Warren Sapp is. We're going to talk about this when we come back. Somebody got to be the fall guy. I'm looking for a fall guy. 888-926-7562. Call me if you want to be my fall guy, my driver. Go get me some Kool-Aid, because that's all we're going to be drinking. And some of that Southern champagne that I have right over here. But we'll talk about that with Big Kenny, because I know he got a fall guy.
You can run, you can hide, never let it inside. Living your life in the dark.
In the red zone.
Kiss and tell, but I've been seen with fire up. I've never been with anything less than a 9. So fine, I've been on fire with Sally Field, gone past with a girl named Bo, but somehow they just don't end up as mine.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. It is Monday. It is August the 24th. Happy birthday to you, Virgos out there. Big Kenny, the truth in the building with me. Hall of Famer Chris Carter. Speaking about a fall guy, Hall of Famer Warren Sapp. I don't know why they paired those two together. Seemed like they would have tried to use them, and at least put Warren Sapp up there with somebody like Kurt Warner. Get a little bit and balance it out. They just had too much realness up there at once. It's just too much. Let's play a little bit of it so people can see before we talk about it. Here's Chris Carter and Warren talking about somebody got to be the fall guy in the crew.
If y'all not going to decide to do the right thing, if y'all got a crew, you got to have a fall guy in the crew. Teddy, come here, man.
He pulls up Teddy Bridgewater, who is now the Vikings quarterback in his second year. I think, Big Kenny, if I was going to say something true, that the issue is not necessarily the speech. It is where the speech is being given. This is the speech you give to the same kids when a trainer, I go down a lot of times to South Florida to my man Tony Villani and talk to the kids that he trained. That's how you say it in that environment. So it's not so much that the wording is wrong. It's just wrong when you're more like in a political, when you imagine presidents, even Barack Obama, President Obama, he says that same thing that he said at the podium, different when he's in the limo, I'd imagine, than he does when he's at the podium. So you don't say fall guy, you say you need to get your crew to where somebody drives and make sure you get home safely, where somebody is responsible for this. make sure that the people around you have some responsibility to you as well, and not just eat off of you.
So the context was correct. I mean, he had some very valid points, is what you're saying. But just
correct. And then when you get to some like informal speech to the kids, you say, because first of all, you can't be up there saying that in the yellow jacket. That's his Hall of Fame jacket. You didn't even need to bring that. That lets you know the kind of guy. I told you all those receivers and cornerbacks, they're just different. We know you're in the Hall of Fame. You didn't have to let us see the jacket. But he was making sure he drove that home to him. And I just think it's a good speech. I just think it's the wrong place. That's more of a where you always know you have to be more technical about what you say. And then when you're in a more different kind of environment, when you go to Arizona and talk to Big Kenny's training camp, when you got 20 or 30 of those guys out there working out, then you say it in that kind of manner. What do y'all think?
Well, I think there's some valid points in that speech, definitely, about your crew and understanding the dynamics that will happen once you have all this money and you're exposed to situations. I think about protecting your brand. I get all of that. I agree with you, though, on the appropriateness of the audience. In particular, with what we see on the news about players' incidents in clubs and on the roads, I think there could have been a better way for him to convey that to that young group of men who are really quite vulnerable.
Right.
I mean, they're millionaires all of a sudden, and they got these funds, and they got these friends that they're going to take care of. And I think there could have been a more poignant way to express that.
Because, Big Kenny, you can easily, if I'm sitting in that audience, think that you're kind of telling me, get your escape plan together in a sense. Like, okay, do your dirt, but you need to start figuring out how you're going to get away with it. Where in that environment, the NFL, ESPN wants you to kind of talk like, don't do it, in a sense. You have to talk in the don't do it way.
He used the phrase, some of you aren't going to do the right thing. I personally think that in any kind of environment, advising guys to find somebody to send to jail for them is the wrong message to send. I come from an environment where criminal activity was rampant, and the goal was always everybody stays out of jail because jail is not the place to go. When the people around me saw that I was different and they thought that I had a chance to do something other than crime, they suggested, look, why don't you get out of this? The OGs in my neighborhood made it a thing. Little dude, don't go. Kenny, don't go. Whatever we doing, he's not a part of this. Right. We keep him out of this. Then I always was around a lot of people that everybody wanted to be a boss. So nobody was going to take a fall for anybody because we had no flunkies. We had no lackeys. We had nobody that was on some, I'm going to eat off of your plate. We were all bringing food to the table. So you do the crime, you do the time for yourself. That was the code that I live by. No snitching. Now, if you go down, you go down. But there was never any of that, I'm going to do something stupid, and when I get caught, you take the fall for me, because that eliminates the need for me to be careful. If I have somebody that's willing to go to jail for me, then maybe I'll just be reckless and stupid.
Well, I think the theory is solid. I mean, it happens in business. You know, I'm the CEO. If something goes down, you sent that email, right?
Well,
you know.
Well, I'm saying,
Hillary,
and a great deal of that is because you put yourself in a position where you are beholden to these people. Now, if Hillary made you, then she can.
I didn't say Hillary.
I'm just saying anybody.
I could have sworn you said Hillary.
You know, anybody. If they make you, if like with the Mike Vick situation, a lot of people bring that up. If he's the one that bought your house, then you might feel inclined to go to jail for him. But if I do what I have to do to support me and mine, and Mike gets in trouble, my thing is, dude, you should have been smarter than that.
Well, that's not my job. My job is to be your boy, you know.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. I've never been anybody's boy.
Oh, okay. Well, let's call
and I don't. And where I come from, we didn't respect boys. We didn't respect people being somebody's boy.
The salary, though. Sometimes, the boy can get my respect.
Well, listen to what I'm saying. The NFL ain't the only place where they make millions of dollars. I've known street millionaires my entire life, and nobody was finna go to jail for them.
They're called hood millionaires.
The hood millionaires, exactly. And nobody was going to jail for the hood millionaire because jail is jail. I don't care how much money you got. It's still jail. 2 hots in a cot, when the doors close, all that money don't mean nothing. So
it might mean after 24 months, it might mean something when you get out.
Well, I'm saying if you get caught and you keep your mouth shut, it's still the same reward when you get out.
I think Big Kenny is saying your boys, just like in the Michael Vick case, that was always the sentiment. Somebody should have jumped on that grenade for Mike Vick. I think all of us felt like for what Mike had been doing for those guys.
For what he had been doing, for what they had allowed him to do for them.
That it should have just been a sentiment that it came from them. So really, he just found out those weren't his boys, because some people's boys would have jumped on that grenade and left him out of it and would have said that he had no knowledge of any of this. Because they couldn't.
Reciprocity.
Yeah, without their testimony, they actually don't have anything. Mike Vick just owned a house and let his boys stay there. I don't know what y'all doing. And it's not like y'all sending me an email at the Saints game telling me, hey, we just lost Ren 10-10 in a fight. That's not how it went down. So they had to get him on federal charges anyway of crossing state lines to have these fights. That's really what they caught him on. It was more of that than it was what happened at the house. But I think that you can't say what Chris Carter said in a room of 300 men where you're trying to make it seem like I'm going to teach you how to scheme to get away with bad things.
Making the assumption that that's going to be
but look at what he prefaced.
And thinking that these 20 and 21 years old kids are going to hear it in the sense of the way he probably was trying to say it.
And look at the way he prefaced it is, if you're going to have a crew and these people are going to be eating off of who did he pull up?
Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridgewater Inc. I've never imagined that I would be the type of dude that, give me $1 million and my mama can retire. My mama's good. Grandmama, she ain't got to go to work no more. But everybody else, brothers, sisters, cousins, nieces, nephews, especially my friends, you got to get your own. Now, I'm not saying if you need me, I wouldn't come to your aid. But I'm saying you're not just finna live in the house with me and drive different cars and then one day they raid the house and I got some Subway sandwiches and child porn, and now you the dude got to go to jail.
What would Mayweather's boys do for him? I want to hear. Call in, please.
I'm saying,
well, those aren't Mayweather's boys per se. Those are people that Mayweather hires.
And the difference is,
well, this is a job. They're not necessarily his boys. I went and found me 8-10 bodyguards. It's like 2 of these people are actually my friends. And I have these bodyguards to keep me
now
out of situations.
And as a bodyguard, I'll take a bullet because that's my job, but I ain't doing no time. Yeah. That's not in the job description.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have to do time.
So there's like a description of the job. What's the street code say about what we do?
It's like Rick Ross here locally. He got in trouble with his bodyguard.
Right.
They both dragged the people into the guest house and beat them with the pistol, and both of them got charged.
Right. The bodyguard wasn't like, it was just me. Rick Ross was like, huh.
And I always started my speech off like, hey, it's 300 of y'all in here. I'm talking to 2 of you because the other 298 already swear y'all smarter than me. So ain't no need of me wasting my time.
You didn't wear your
Chris was trying to save all of them. I'm trying to save one of them, and that's just how it goes. 888-926-7562. Who's gonna be the fall guy?
I will. What's the pay grade?
I'll give you $100,000 per year.
Look, I got questions.
We'll
I got more questions.
Not me.
Enough is enough! I have had it!
Why so serious?
And we hold the world ransom for
Wayne Gandy.
Excuse me while I whip this house.
Show me
Broadcasting live from the Armada FM studios in Atlanta, Georgia. This is the Sports Joc Show with Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. August 24th. Happy Monday. Happy back to school day. Get them grades. I'm sitting here with The Truth and Big Kenny. We have learned to eat fresh at Subway. Jared Fogle pleading guilty to some of the horrible crimes of our country. Children, when children are involved, child, basically statutory rape, underage girls, child pornography. We have talked about Oscar and the Tink Tink, as Big Kenny says, still has to stay behind bars. Anybody know somebody been to jail in South Africa? I wonder how their prisons look. They plush? Are they better than us? I'm quite sure they've upgraded since Nelson Mandela days, right? They just had him in a bar. He was just in the ground. It wasn't even like I don't. You ever seen a picture of where he was just? It was just like an unfinished room. It was just a bad situation. Something tells me Oscar is not there.
They added a light bulb.
We talked about that. We've also hit on Chris Carter and his fall guy situation. Speaking at the Rookie Symposium, we have a picture up of what some of, I guess, one or two of the jails over there looks crowded. Little bed right there. Man, I couldn't get no sleep in a room like that. I just could not get some. I can barely sleep by myself. I know those people in there trying to steal my honey bun would be tough on a brother. Day in and day out, got to prove myself. But we talked about Chris Carter, the Rookie Symposium. His words on that. We'll revisit it real quick in just a second. Fall guy. Barry Bonds, steroid dude, is the greatest fall guy of all time because he did like 2 years and they all offered him freedom. You want to talk now? No, send me back to jail. He went on back, did another 2 years, and never said a word. Came on out, and I'm quite sure he's on a yacht somewhere with Barry. Barry made about $200 million doing his career, so they're yachting and fishing, and it probably was all worth it for him because he couldn't go back to his workout facility. He couldn't go back to what he really knew how to do because the feds had exposed him for. And I don't even know if you can get your license back after something like that. Can you in the workout business if somebody exposed that you've been illegally providing steroids and stuff? That would violate your license. Don't you have a license to work? Have to work people out? You have to get a license, don't you? To be a trainer? No? Oh, to be a certified trainer. If you just want to be a shade tree trainer, you good. Like this dude over here. Didn't he call himself a trainer? Because I want to look like that when I grow up. You know, I want to get them traps are just impressive right there that he has. Before we move on, I have just something that I found very funny. 63-year-old lady passed away on August 13th. That is not the joke. So I know y'all sitting there like, that's kind of morbid. Her dying wish to her husband, Joe, Elaine Friedrich, she told her husband, please don't vote Hillary Clinton for president. That was her dying wish. She died like a day later, and that's what she, I don't know what your dying wish would be. Mine would probably be a slab of ribs, dry and then dipped in sauce. But, Big Kenny's probably would be some heroin. Don't truth to be trying to ask for more lifetime. Like, please let me live longer. The mediocre producer, I know he's going to ask for a new wardrobe. Massengill is going to ask for another trailer. Spencer Haywood is going to be asking for intern Kaya to get off his nerves. And racist Ryan is going to be asking for a real sign that there's life beyond our planet. He would just want to know. But she asked her husband not to vote for Hillary. How is that in your last? You're sitting there with a tube in your mouth and stuff, and you got Hillary Clinton on your mind. That's something right there. That's a lot of disapproval of somebody being the president. But Thought that was funny. She don't look like she's gonna die. Gotta figure out when she passed away. She looked healthy right there. Pink cheeks and everything. Wardrobe looking nice. Had her hair done. Went out in fashion. 63 is young to pass away though. Gotta figure out what she passed of. But back to the show. Sitting here riding with me today is the truth, Miss Renee Jemison and funny man himself, Big Kenny. Over in Mississippi. Oh, you want to hit on Chris Carter?
I just want to say when it comes to Chris Carter and the Fall Guy, why isn't part of his speech, hey man, just eliminate foolishness around you. You have worked hard. You've sacrificed a lot to get to this level. Why not appreciate what you've got? Why not appreciate the fact that you can change the lives of generations of your family from here on out? Let's just do better.
That's how I ended up volunteering to go. I asked him, why do you always put people up on stage that went wrong? Won't you put people on stage that went right? So I can tell them that the person that went right had the same feeling that the person that went wrong had. I wanted it too. All I did different than him is I weighed, if I get it, now what is the ramifications of this?
Exactly.
After I get it. And I weighed whether that was worth. Now, early on, when I got to college, sneaking a girl in the dorm and doing 200 stadiums was worth it. You know, you're young, you're just trying to get, going.
The penalty was
you're trying to establish yourself.
I mean, 200 stadiums ain't 8 years in the pen.
That's exactly right.
No, I'm just giving you something that it was
exactly.
worth.
It was. Now, there were some things that were worth the penalty.
I'm not starting. I'm sitting over here. I'm red shirt, and I ain't got plenty of energy. By the time I was a junior, man, look, I'll meet you there. Don't even come over here because I don't have time to give these people nothing more than, and that's all I'm trying. I always used to try to convey to them because they think the person that don't choose wrong don't have the same feeling. I wanted the sneakers. I wanted the car, but it was not worth me giving my scholarship up.
Someone said to me once, man, you don't know what it's like. And I was like, why don't I know what it's like? We from the same place. We're sitting in the same exact chair, but the difference is, just like you said, I don't want to look at my mother through 6-inch glass.
Yes.
I don't want my family embarrassed. I don't want to have to fight off the Aryan nation in a chow hall. So, I mean, because, and Chris Carter's making it sound like going to prison is like going to some sort of training camp. You're earning that money if you got a fall guy.
What he's saying is it doesn't matter to you guys what's going on in prison. Just make sure.
I guess.
You got somebody.
And there's somebody out there stupid and lazy enough to go, I'll do it. Right. And then the first time he gets shanked, he goes, it's not working.
And also there's a balance of speakers too. You've got an audience of guys that have come from different places and they hear different things. So you've got Chris Carter that maybe they'll listen to, and then Tom Brady comes up and says something else and he talks to two people that listen to him. So I mean, you
well, that's why I said I think that even if you're going to have the good guy, bad guy speech, I don't think you give it like they might have done it.
With two bad guys.
I give it 2 bad, and then tomorrow I'm gonna give you the 2 good.
Right.
Something tells me you need to always let them know that there's a good and an evil.
You do.
There's a devil on each shoulder. There's a good one and a bad one. There's an angel and there's a devil.
Because to me, nothing speaks to me louder than somebody that says, I'm where you're from. I lived through what you lived through, and I still made it.
Right.
I'm still able to achieve at the highest levels of society because I made the right choices, and you can do the same thing. We don't all have to do the wrong thing.
Where's Warren Sapp's fall guy?
He's his own fall guy.
He's still in jail. That's why he out there falling himself now, because he's so used to having a fall guy.
Because he didn't pay him enough.
He's doing his own thing. But you said one thing, too. I didn't never know how I was supposed to go and explain this to my mother. Because I wasn't dumb, so I couldn't give her
I didn't know better.
The dumb thing. Right. You know how I don't have that. I should have established that earlier, and then you can give that to him. But you can't go and and make a 4-0 and then be like, nah, I really didn't know you can get in jail for stealing those sneakers. So I didn't establish that with her. Now that I should have established that I really was kind of slow, then I could have fed her some of that stuff. But she'd have been looking, you could already see the look she giving you before she even get to the state.
The difference is you care what your mother thinks.
Well,
yeah, that's true.
And my mother always, like you said, my mother was one of those, how can you make a 4-0 and even hang with this dude? this dude can barely speak. He can barely speak English, and that's his native tongue. And you're on the honor roll, and you're saying that you guys are best friends. That doesn't make sense to me, right?
Association.
And she made it very clear very early on. You have nothing in common with this guy other than the neighborhood you live in.
What are these two guys right here in this picture right here with Barack? And what is this conversation like, Big Kenny? Got a picture of two golfers, Barack Obama and former President Bill. What is that conversation about out there, man?
And I said, Monica, I'll smack the hell out of you if you want to tell on me. I'm Willie Clinton. Slick Willie's what they call me. You better understand. Well, Michelle would never let me raise my hand to her. She'd never let me. You got to lay your pimp hand down. That's what you got to do. I'm going to tell you one thing. I did not have sexual relations with that one. And say it like you mean it.
Did George Bush name come up during that ride?
In jokes.
The game explained.
We'll be back with more of the Sports Joc Show in just a second.
You don't even get paid a whole lot.
In the red zone.
Well, I wrote this song for the Christian youth. I want to teach kids the Christian truth. If you want to reach those kids on the street, then you got to do a rap to a hip-hop beat. So I gave my sermon an urban kick. My rhymes are fly, my beats are sick. My crew is big and it keeps getting bigger. That's 'cause Jesus Christ is my name.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. The Freedom from Religion Foundation. Yes, that's the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Yeah, that is an actual group. Freedom from Religion Foundation. And the Americans United for Separation of Church and State. These are groups, you should Google them and sign up if that's how you feel. They have once again decided to attack a southern school. They haven't gone up north with this radical idea. Last year they were in Clemson for the Clemson Tigers. Dabo Swinney came under criticism for his participation in some kind of fundraiser. I would have to get the details, but they didn't like that he went to a fundraiser that was Christian-based, and they felt like he was using his coach's notoriety to help them gain money. Here in Georgia, they have found their way down 85 from South Carolina to here to attack head coach Mark Richt and the University of Georgia program, and also Georgia Tech with Paul Johnson. They want them to remove the chaplains from basically the football organization. They feel like the influence of the coaches and that there's a chaplain around, they are leading the kids to maybe think about having religion in their lives. Big Kenny, Truth, they are going as far even to try to make the university show where they're getting the money to pay the chaplains. They don't want the chaplains to get free tickets to the games or even be allowed on the sideline. They say that it is infringement on the players' religious choice that this is going on. And why y'all got that look? I'm not making this long story up.
I'm just trying to think of
Oh.
something to say.
In Georgia, just to give you some, from 1947 to 1986, before high school football games, Georgia would play a prayer, or somebody would pray before the game to wish both teams luck. They stopped that in 86 to let you know that some things have been wiped away. These two groups say they are in for a long fight to try to get this to happen. Who wants to start?
The guy that is leading all of this eliminate prayer, they reached him for a comment and he said,
No one needs to pray anymore. I need you to turn your back on Jesus.
And that was pretty much his statement. It was all like
both of the schools have said that this is voluntary. The prayer when they break up, and I can tell you from all the teams from when I was when I played baseball at 7 and 8, either before the game or after the game, somebody would say a prayer. It's a quick prayer. We get to team sports, especially past high school, college, pros. They offer you a chaplain. They offer the Jewish people what are their person, a rabbi. A rabbi. They would offer both. That if you of whatever religion, it's right before we ate.
Just long as it ain't no Muslim extremists.
They would offer that you could go. Some days guys went, some days they didn't. Before the game, somebody would say a prayer. There's nobody in there taking a head check to make sure you're praying or even that you're in the room. Some guys would still be on the table getting shots and IVs.
Would be my question.
So it's not like they made attendance like everybody come in. You could be sitting on the toilet. They didn't care. It's just that 2-minute mark when somebody would say it's 2 minutes. Somebody would say a quick prayer before coach tell you that BS. And sometimes you needed a prayer just to hear that BS he was going to spill about how we going to win. No, we're not today.
Help
but
me, Lord.
Let's go. Let's try this again. Especially some of the teams I was in. Let's give it a good old try.
And it didn't have to be like a specific prayer. It could be like, Lord, let the scouts show me favor today, Jesus. Let me be able to go on to the NFL and make millions of dollars to donate to my church.
What harm is done?
No, because it was usually just a prayer for try to get everybody back in here unhurt.
But my question,
it wasn't give your soul to Jesus. It wasn't come on over. It was somebody praying to say, it was somebody saying in this 60-minute game, hopefully we'll all come back here without our ACL or our neck broken. And there you go. It wasn't one of those the holy roller, change your religion.
Like praying that rib don't kill you when you eat it. Bless me.
Half the guys still got their earbuds on, F the police, they ain't even, y'all finished? Oh, okay. So it's not like it was one of those kind of things.
It's not like you're in the locker room and everybody's like, let us go out and score some touchdowns.
My question to you two has always been, why is people so interested in invading the world of sport? I don't know what y'all do at Coke. I mean, y'all want to get into everything. Y'all have made it all the way down to, are y'all praying in the locker room? Like, shouldn't this be something that the players, Arian Foster came out with the Texans a couple of weeks, the running back. And if he wanted to take this and say that it was wrong or he felt those are the people. Shouldn't it be the players that feel like
they should have a problem with what's going on in their environment?
Yes.
One would think. And again, though, we got television. We're in your locker room. You're on ESPN. We're watching what you do. So a part of that means that we're involved in your life and your decisions. We pay for that ticket. We are a part of what happens in your world as a fan and as a supporter of the sport.
Well, something I'll tell you they don't show is the guys that really are religious, about 10 minutes before they have that general prayer, they meet in the shower. The guys that really want a real prayer. Or I've been on teams where guys were Muslim. They would go off to themselves. Everybody respected everybody's whatever you are. Nobody, there wasn't, that's what I'm saying. The prayer they're talking about was just
the general prayer.
A well wish. Let's play hard and see us back here in about 3 hours.
I remember in high school, the team would go out even before school started because they tried to have words about not being, no religion in schools. But the athletes at Warner Robins High School would go to the field early and pray before school started every day. And we would see them. We would know what they were doing, but it wasn't sanctioned to do it in the school. But it was respected and allowed. I mean, for you to do your thing, and I think that's what you're saying. And
I take I don't know if the word is offense, but I'd like to take a moment to address what the truth was saying about because you're on TV, because you're in the locker room, we support that life. We want to know. We have a say in the decisions that you make. The two worlds, sports and entertainment, people feel because they buy tickets, because they tune in, because they show up to the games, they are supporting or somehow driving your livelihood, so they have a right to make decisions in your life. I pay taxes, but you don't see me asking the school bus driver what she does after hours. You don't see other people, Coca-Cola, companies like that, Home Depot are publicly traded companies. So those dollars come from the general public, and none of those people fall under the same scrutiny. I think that sometimes people overstep their bounds with their desire to make decisions in places where they really have no decision-making power.
Well, the difference is in corporate America, the audience and the fans are the shareholders and the stockholders. So Coca-Cola has somebody looking at their reports and seeing if they're paying for a chaplain and whether or not that's good for business. It's just the audience is different. And again, there's no cameras in the boardroom at Coke.
Yeah, but those people are usually policing themselves.
Exactly.
It's the owners that are policing the company.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They're the owners of it. This is not the owners of the
we think
NFL.
We owe you. I have bought a ticket.
And that's my point.
Right. That's
my point. Just because you bought a ticket doesn't make you able to tell me how to run my organization. Right.
But
your ticket is one ticket.
Yeah, I know, but it does.
And anything that players want changed, that's what I'm saying. If it don't even take the majority, if 10 of them got up and went to the coach with that, then he would say, okay, for those that want to do it, we'll do it here. We won't do it on the main floor. They make adjustments, but none of these things, like I told you about the NFL, I don't remember them ever passing out a sheet of paper or telling us to sign a poll that said we're hitting too hard. I don't. What is that? What is I'm hitting too hard? I don't know what that is. Now I can.
Did you die? Okay then. That's all I'm saying. You ain't dead. Why you crying?
I want you to go and knock Big Kenny. I don't want you to kill him, but I'm okay if he don't come back in the game. Knock him out. Knock him out.
You ain't dead. Stop whining.
So I don't remember a players poll that said we are hitting too hard
or praying.
And usually the ones that have a complaint are the ones who retire or exit the stage of football. But they're already admitting, like this Chris Borland dude who retired after his rookie year, talking about it's violent out there. Yeah, it's violent out there.
That's why you don't play anymore, because you couldn't take the violence.
It's a violent sport. It was never made for everybody, and violence is part of it. Do you want anybody to be maimed or any of it? No. But an aspect of everything. If the man on the tightrope really is not going to die, are you really as intrigued if he got on a parachute and he going to fall in a big old lake? You're not as intrigued as when you look up there and be like, man, this man ain't got nothing on, man. Then you are truly engaged. That's part of some sports, is the aspect that there's some danger to it. Not that you ever want the danger to occur.
Well, that's why.
But there is an aspect of that.
That's why the prayers that we had to pray for that.
We'll be back. Talk about some injuries in the NFL and much more. 888-926-7562. We have Erica Ash, Survivor's Remorse, coming up at the top of the hour. But we'll be back with more of the Sports Joc Show in just a second.
And now back to the Sports Joc, Wayne Gandy.
You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille, with 4 hungry children and a crop in the field. I've had some bad times, lived through some sad times, but this time your hurting won't heal.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc, Wayne Gandy. Only man I know that had 400 children was Brigham Young. I mean, who else had?
I used to.
Oh, hungry.
And Sports Joc, don't feel bad, because I was going to address it when I was a youngster, and I used to hear this song, and he'd say, You picked a fine time to leave me with 400 children. And I was thinking, I'm surprised she didn't leave you a long time ago. You savage. I mean, get off this woman. She's
like
exhausted.
Brigham Young had like 45 wives, and they all had 10 kids apiece. So,
carried away.
yeah, Steve Young, great granddaddy.
Right.
People don't even realize that.
But when I found out 4 hungry children.
Steve Young is
Brigham Young's descendant.
Yes. Oh, see, a lot of people didn't know that. Steve Young, yes, he went to BYU. Jim McMahon went there too, but we see how that turned out. Something tells me he did not stay.
It's the lineage, not the school. It's not the school.
And they throw you out for stuff like that. So, but we were talking. Oh, you said the Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah.
The Falcons are considering naming right
for Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz so very graciously decided to make Atlanta their home, and we welcome them and appreciate all the capital they're going to help us with. And I understand that the Falcon fans are having a problem because the dome in New Orleans, the Superdome, is also named after Mercedes-Benz. So
why not Porsche? We have the headquarters of Porsche here.
They didn't win.
Right down
they
by
didn't
the
spend
airport.
enough money, obviously. I'm sure that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Porsche, what do we have? Porsche, we have Delta.
Yes.
But there's a Delta arena somewhere already, too.
But there's a Mercedes-Benz arena somewhere.
There's not a Delta arena?
Delta arena isn't like, is that not where the Bulls play? Do the Bulls play in the Delta? Oh, United Center.
Some airlines.
What's in Memphis?
Memphis.
Crime. Lots of crime and poverty. Yeah. The Crime and Poverty Stadium. That's what it is.
Joc, what are your thoughts? I mean,
I'm
you paid for
surprised.
both the Saints and the Falcons.
I'm surprised that Coca-Cola didn't throw their name up there. To tell you the truth.
You mean their dollar?
Yeah, well, that too.
Okay.
But being so close to have where their headquarters is, I just thought they was going to throw the Coca-Cola.
It would make sense.
Or something like that.
It would make sense, but they didn't.
If all the Saints, if all the New Orleans people moved here, then
they did.
Just move the name up here.
10 years ago, August 29th.
I got a question.
What is that?
Why didn't Home Depot throw their money up? Man, it's the owner of the Falcons.
That's nepotism, isn't it?
Blake probably has some kind of legal. He might have some kind of legal thing with that, maybe.
Yeah.
Because
the
he
SEC
started.
might get in on that one.
Yeah, that would be an interesting question to find out.
You can't do that.
But I think he might have some.
I own Home Depot. I own the Falcons. Why not name the stadium of the team that I own after the business that I own?
And then we rename Atlanta. The whole city. He just owns
might as well.
Spencer Haywood.
You good with that? Blankville.
Who's good with their computer in here? See if there's any owner because first of all, Tom Benson owns Benz dealerships because he used to always park a Benz in front of the door before training camp to try to get us to buy the newest Benz. He would back it up, rub them out right in front of the main door, trying to get somebody to buy it. Somebody always bought it, but
who owns?
But Benson started. He made all that money through rental cars, and he owns a lot of Benz dealerships too. So
Heinz Field is
no, the Steelers made their money through gambling, racetracks and stuff like that back in the day.
Well, you started off the
Irish mob,
the Sports Joc show today talking about
y'all didn't know the Irish mob, the Rooneys. That's why Dan, Art, they all named their children after the boys.
Gangster.
Okay.
Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, your kids have to be Dan or Art.
I didn't know that.
So you have me, your name is Art, and I'm Dan. My first son's name is Art. My second son's name is Dan Jr. My third son's name is Art. And so on and so on.
That's like a riddle.
So the premise is that it will always be a Dan or Art that runs the Steelers.
Yeah.
So Art the second is running the Steelers. The first Art died.
It's like George Foreman.
And Dan is like 90, Mr. Rooney, who I love to death. He's getting shorter with his old age. He don't live so long that you can see his shortness.
Osteoporosis.
And so Art is owning them now. So
and then there'll be another Art.
There'll be another Art.
Yeah.
The problem is when you go to the Christmas party, and it's like a whole bunch of Dan and Arts in here, and you just Mr. Rooney, Mr. Rooney, Mr. Rooney, Mr. Rooney, and then you say Lil Rooney when the little one come over, Lil Rooney, you come over like that, because they're a great family, great organization.
And when the girls call the house, can I speak to Dan? And somebody just screams, Dan! And everybody picks up a line. Hello? Who is this?
Like George
Melissa?
I want number 2.
Melissa? Everybody just looks at each other. You know Melissa? You know Melissa?
Is she for you?
Like George Foreman named all his sons
George. Right.
Yeah. Was it like 5 of them or 6?
I don't know, 4 or 5, a bunch of them.
After 2, it really don't make no difference.
You name 2 kids the same name.
Yeah.
Once again, the Confederate flag is in the news. The head coaches of Ole Miss, Hugh Freeze, and the head coach of Mississippi State, Dan Mullen, both have signed off on petitions along with big names like Morgan Freeman and other people who are from the state of Mississippi or own homes there to remove the rebel flag from the state flag. I wonder why the freedom of religion people aren't, because they're using their influence to help get this off the state flag. Both the coaches, I'm quite sure, understand that there are parents who probably won't let their players come play at those colleges because, first of all, you're from Mississippi, which already sends that sentiment. And now this flag issue, so for them in their recruiting and their programs, it definitely will help.
And there are probably some parents who will want to pull their children out of that program because they're taking this stance. There are some people who strongly believe in the rebel flag in the state of Mississippi, especially at Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. And if you're not willing to support that, there are some people who are probably feeling like their days are numbered there. As the coach, you got to bring home the championship.
Right.
Or you got to get out of here because, number one, you don't win, and number 2, you're against the rebel flag.
And with these 2 programs, both at some point last year, Mississippi State was number 1. Both were in the top 10. Mississippi State already had been under controversy with old man Rebel right there.
Johnny Reb.
Johnny Reb being on their symbol. I can tell you when I was at Auburn, which is really going to sound crazy because it's not like Mississippi and Alabama as far as racial relations are any different. But we'll go up there and we would beat Mississippi State or Ole Miss just because they were flying the rebel flag like we were from California.
Let's get
then we get on the plane and go right back to Alabama,
home to the races.
Like we really haven't did anything.
Great game today, boys. We appreciate y'all beating up on Ole Miss. Let's get on the bus. All you coloreds get to the back now. Let all these good white players get up front. All right now. Hey, hush your mouth over there, boy.
So we literally get we get to the stadium, the flag. Oh man, they ain't gonna fly that flag over us, man. And I'm like, man,
staring you up.
I'm at Alabama. I'm from Central Florida, which is almost southern Georgia.
It's the same.
Having a feeling about the flag, like I'm so different.
But whatever it takes to get that fire in you.
Yeah. But I guess it was just something about seeing it because you didn't see it in Alabama like that. You see it on a bumper sticker or something, but it wasn't so prevalent as when we went to their game.
How would you like to make some real?
Yeah, that's the ghost of Johnny Reb right there coming on in.
How would you like to make some real slaves, boy?
He looks like Colonel Sanders.
And here in South Georgia, the NAACP is asking Effingham, County High School to remove their name of Rebels. And a lot of colleges are changing. St. John's stopped being the Red Man. They're the Red Eagles or something. I know at Arkansas State, they used to be the Indians, and now they're the Red Wolves. So you've seen a lot of colleges without any.
But New Mexico State still the border jumpers, boy.
When do you think that's going to really make a move to professional sports? I know they talk about it with the Braves and the Redskins. Do you think that conversation will come back?
Being that they are basically privately owned in a sense, they don't have to give in. And just like the owner of the Redskins said, he's not changing the name. He still sell out, so I don't know what the problem is. And the Redskins will probably be the biggest name that they could take down.
What about the Braves?
The Braves have never been as big as the Redskins.
Well, and where is the person like, it's heapum bad idea to call themselves Redskins. You never hear them protesting.
Right.
It's always some white guy
They're building casinos.
It's like, hey guys, that's really racist. And like you said, the real Indians are like, hey, look,
we got all this paper.
we got all this casino money. Yeah. We don't live on reservations anymore, dude. Get out of here with that.
I ain't care what tomahawk
we've got
is.
we got condos now. Get out of here.
But it'll be interesting as the season rolls around to see if this plays any act. College football is about 2 weeks away. Pro kicks off September the 10th. The opening season is the 13th because I think they are playing like Wednesday.
The
NFL is such capitalists, man. You gotta love them. They'll play a game any day they think they can get 3 extra watchers. You know.
And with the rebel flag, the Chamber of Commerce has been asked to take the OK Cafe, which is not far from here, off of their list of preferred vendors because they have a rebel flag on a state flag displayed in their building.
And those people have never been to the OK Cafe
because it's closed.
If you go in there and get them collard greens,
yeah, they had a fire. It's not even.
You wouldn't care. You wouldn't care if an overseer was sitting on a horseback going, get out of here, you colored Negroes. If you go in there and get them collard greens, you ain't even see the wall portrait. It's like,
them yams will make you go, that ain't go massa.
Be right back for the Sports Joc Show.
You're listening to the Sports Joc Show with Wayne Gandy.
You've painted up your lips and rolled and curled your tinted hair. Ruby, are you contemplating going out somewhere? The shadow on the wall tells me the sun is going down. Oh, Ruby, don't take your love to town.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. It is August 24th. It is Monday. We are here at the top of the hour. Survivor Remorse, Miss Actress, Miss Erica Ash will be calling in. I went out to the premiere of that. They showed the first 2 episodes. Got my little tag here, VIP, which only got me a small popcorn. They didn't even a small drink. The cheapskates. But it was a good showing. Erica in her 2nd season of being on that show. We will talk to her in just a second. NFL news and notes. Jordy Nelson. We got Jordy video. Jordy Nelson, wide receiver for the Packers, on a play. And I always tell people the most dangerous injuries happen when nobody touches you. People always think it has to be contact. Jordy on this play at the bottom of your screen, playing receiver, catches the ball, makes a move. It is suspected that he tore his ACL. And if you saw the play, it was just a routine play. Nobody touched him. It wasn't even that quick of a cut. Just tore his ACL. He's their top receiver. So Aaron Rodgers. Hopefully they get some good news. But at this point, everybody's thinking it's a torn ACL, which is a 6 to 8 month recovery. He was their top receiver. They just gave him a big deal. So Randall Cobb and those guys are going to have to pick up the slack. RG3 was hurt on Saturday again. I guess he don't eat fresh. He is part of the Subway guys.
Yeah.
RG3, Justin Tuck. Who else? Ndamukong Suh. Just to name Ryan Howard. Just to name a couple of the people who have been on those commercials with Jared Fogle. RG3. We have that video. Did we find it? RG3 says he has oh, there you go.
My way is a foot-long turkey on flat.
Foot-long turkey on flatbeds.
Flatbread with spinach, tomatoes, and pickles.
And my way is an oven-roasted chicken with spinach, tomatoes, and jalapeno.
Mine helps me outrun big guys like
Mine
you.
helps me dominate.
See right there, stop it. That's a lie.
It did not help. It did not help.
His sandwich does not help you outrun anybody.
False advertisement. I'm suing.
That's a sue. I'm
suing. There it is. Lawsuit. False advertising right there.
RG3 sustaining another concussion on Saturday. He says he's going to start this week coming up. Big Kenny says that he even seen some reports that said he was faking.
Some people are speculating that he was faking having a concussion just to cover up for the fact that he played so horrible.
It was partly him and mostly the offensive line. I literally started stretching, thinking, man, do I have a season in me? Because I can
Put
do
me
that.
in, coach. Put me in.
I can do that there. Now that's
if I come in 6 games in.
They offered him very little protection in the little quarter and a half he was out there. He was being hit about every other time he went back to throw. RG3 is not a big man. If you ever want to see him, he's maybe 200 pounds. And, you know, when you put a muscular 200 pounds, it even looks smaller. So 300-pound men falling on him reduces his energy and his body tremendously, as you can tell.
As it would anybody, right? As it would any of us, I'm sure. If 300-pound dudes just fell on me time after time in the span of about 3 or 4 minutes, I'd be a little tired. Let's not go to the club tonight. You know what I mean? I'm going to just sit it out. Sports Joc, I want to ask you, first of all, when it comes to Jordy Nelson, tore his ACL, it was a non-contact injury. I would imagine knees are kind of like tires. They've only got so many miles on them before they get worn out. Is this just a flea that comes with the dog in professional sports? And then when it comes to when Jordy got injured, Aaron Rodgers got on the podium and says it's a shame to lose a player like that, especially for a senseless game or something that he called it, a game that doesn't mean anything. We've always said there are 4 quarterbacks. There's Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, who carry power in the NFL. Him saying that, will that change the way that they play people in the preseason?
No, because they've minimized practice as much. And it's one of those things that even as a player, you just learn that it's a necessary evil. You be thinking that you don't need it, but trying to go out and play a full game, that first game on the professional level with no type of training to the body, I always said it's like a boxer fighting a heavyweight match without sparring. Maybe he can win, but it's probably going to reduce it. He's probably going to feel worse in his body than he probably ever has. So the problem is you do limit the snaps, as I said. Every game you get a couple of more. And that's one of those reasons I used to keep count. Like, okay, that's 7. I'm going to the sideline. Coach said a quarter and a half. That's a quarter and a half. I'm going to the sideline. And you be really, really thankful. It's very interesting, your mindset. When you get to the regular season, you have no thought of that. But in the preseason, you do leave the game like, whew, I made it through this. Like, because you don't want to, you can get hurt game 1 and feel like, okay. But to get hurt in the preseason really throws you off, and it just because you do know, man, I'm out here and I'm working for $1,800 because you're not even counting your real salary. You're just thinking, y'all paying me $1,800 a week for training camp,
right?
And you know, which after taxes is $1,100. So I don't got hurt for $1,100. I can't even get a good suit.
And you can't get
for
to
what I got hurt for, and you just be feeling that way, and it's just something about it. So I'm quite sure he's really bummed that that's what he has to tell. When I tore my ACL, I was in game 6 of year 14. So I was like, okay, you know, I'll come back.
It's a sign.
Yeah, you know, the tread is low. So when you said that,
right,
it's usually your hamstrings.
Right.
That, because me and Roddy White, we hang out. I said, you know, you don't got over 32 now. You have to protect your hamstrings. Like you just have to, because the tread get low. It's amazing how that tread just gets low back there. It just wears down. And he said, yeah, man, I'm always grabbing them. Because for men in sports, your groins and your hamstrings wear out. Muscles, yeah. But I do believe you can wear that ACL, that MCL, and that's why I say some of these kids, younger kids, are overtraining. They're training way too much. All that jumping up on the box with 40-pound vest is not making you a better football player.
You know,
you might be a better world champion weightlifter, but all you're doing is tearing at that cartilage. And that was the one piece of advice that Jackie Slater, the Hall of Famer, gave me when I was a rookie. He told me not to lose my career in the weight room. Use the weights to help you, but don't be in there trying to show out. Yeah. And ever,
ego.
Yeah. So
what about contractually? You get injured in the preseason, you can't play the regular season. Some of these guys without guaranteed contracts or without these big signing bonuses are basically just
SOL.
They're just out of luck.
The contract guys are pretty safe. The ones that don't have the big contracts usually get bought out to create room. Somebody like Jordy, he's fine because he got a signing, and that's part of why you got that signing bonus. So no matter what happens, you try to get as much money because that puts pressure on them to keep you. And then you start looking at the age of when I was 37 when I tore my ACL. So at the end of the season, the Falcons released me. When I told them I could play again, they picked me right back up. So it was never that they were trying to get rid of me, but they knew, hey, you're already 37, so it was all.
Does Lloyd's of London still insure players?
Most people get that in their college years. Once you get 50 up front, Lloyd's of London don't really do much for you.
Can't help
you. So Tom Brady ain't looking for Lloyd's of London for anything, but usually in college, guys will try to do that.
Okay.
But it's just an unfortunate thing. I said that I told Big Kenny earlier. This is what I said when Jared asked me who's going to win. I said, well, I got to wait to see who get hurt because that's the preseason.
Or Jared?
Jared with the 2 T's at the end. Right, who wants to make sure I don't get him confused.
The hapless Raiders fan.
Yes, that guy.
I mean, Raiders fan, child molester. What's the difference? You know what I mean? Really?
It's a thin line, but it's a thin line.
I'm saying you could.
You both are paying for it.
It's blurred, right? It's blurred. It's a blurred line.
But, hopefully in the next 2 preseason games and this preseason week coming up, this is the game that starters play the most. This is when you really go out and even start running plays you might run in that's why I don't watch the first 2 games because most of those are theory plays half the time that you're running. Nobody ever ran that.
Let's try this.
This game is when I'm going to actually run the route that I plan on beating the Saints with or I plan on beating the Broncos with. This is a coverage. I want to really see it work. Can y'all run it? So hopefully we can get through this week. But if you watch every year through preseason and those first, it seems like everybody gets hurt in preseason in those first 2 weeks of the season that people get hurt. And when it comes to teams, this is a big blow because this is their playmaker. This is the guy when they needed plays last year they went to. So we'll see how much magic Aaron Rodgers really has.
When we come back, I want you to tell me you think if Marquise Pouncey's done.
Oh, my man, Marquise. I guess that guy put a hex on him, the guy they say. Remember the guy said him and his twin brother, Marcus? It is Marquise and Marcus, too. That's what his mom named him. We'll be back. 888-926-7562. More of the Sports Joc Show. Erica Ashe coming up in just a second.
Enough is enough! I have had it!
Why so serious?
And we hold the world ransom for
Wayne Gandy.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Show me the money.
Broadcasting live from the Armada FM studios in Atlanta, Georgia. This is the Sports Joc Show with Wayne Gandy.
Just think about it.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc, Wayne Gandy. It is 11 o'clock, so parents put the kids to sleep. Well, no, they're at school today. This is usually where we get a little, I don't know if we can get any more than eat fresh, but we try to push the boundaries from 11 to 12, but we're going to be, we got some adults in the house and some AARP over there, so we're going to keep it a little clean here for the next hour. Even though she really like it rugged and raw, we're going to serve it up to her light and fluffy Birthdays of the last week. What do you call him? Slick Willie? Bill Clinton, 69 years old. MMA fighter Misha Tate, 29. Willie Cauley-Stein, 22, the rookie. Christian Slater, 46. Lil Romeo, 26 years old. Kirk Cousins, 27. Kirk Cousins keep getting opportunities because RG3 keep getting hurt. So Kirk Cousins, 27. Don King, only in America, 84 years old. Man, Don King been alive. He got to be like 150. He was 80 when he was representing Ali. That was 84 years old. Don King went to jail, didn't he? Did he shoot somebody? He was like a little stint. Yeah, the fall guy got out of it. Fred Durst, 46. KRS, 150. Fat Joe, 45. Al Roker, 61, excuse me. Jeremy Lin, 27. Steph Curry's little brother, Seth, 25. Randall Cobb of the Packers, 26. Hayden Panettiere. And the only reason I'm mentioning her name, she married one of the Klitschko's, the boxing, the world champions. I don't know if that's the one that's going to take over the Ukraine, but she done found herself in some kind of world war or something, isn't it? Kenny Rogers, 71. Khalees, 36. B.J. Upton, 31. Mike Evans of the Bucks, 22. Kobe Bryant, 37. We'll talk about him in just a second. Juan Manuel Marquez, 46. Who else do we have on here? Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, 32. And my precious daughter had her 18th birthday. Happy birthday to you. Can't wait till you start filing taxes. Daddy can buy himself something. You know what? You can just buy yourself something. And the fastest man on the planet, Usain. Let's show Usain. We got time for that. You can always show a Usain Bolt clip because it only takes 9.8 seconds. So this was the other day.
And listen to the roar from the crowd here.
It takes longer for them to announce him than the race takes. Usain Bolt's in the blocks.
Not a great start from Bolt, but Gassemi starts well alongside him, and Mike Rogers as well into his stride. And here comes Usain Bolt just easing his way through. Bolt, Rogers,
and that is it. That's the whole clip. Usain Bolt, the Jamaican sprinter, for about the last 8 years. Nobody faster than Bolt. He says it's the yams from Jamaica. I don't know. We need to test them, or let's market them. Hey, so let's market them. But once again, getting ready for the Olympics, which will be in Rio next year. They make me want to go to Rio just to get a little sample test of the water. You know, just really, I wouldn't get in it. I would just like scoop something. That might get contagious. They say they're going to have them fully clean by next summer. So that's going to be probably the story of the Olympics. How many people get Ebola from that water? Can you get Ebola from? Oh, they're going to get something. You can't clean up a whole ocean of sewage in that short of a time. But they say they're going to clean it up. We will see. We're still trying to get Miss Erica Ash on the line. And for you Megan Fox fans, I did find out she's back on the market. She is divorcing her husband. You know, I like to get into the gossip news. It was the first thing when I hit Yahoo, it popped up. So don't think I really went researching it. Most of the time I get the news from when I'm standing at the line in Publix. I look over, they tell you all the facts on the first page. You don't even have to flip in. It's like you told me all 8 stories up here on the front. And yeah, I get me some eggs, and they always sucker me into one of those Mountain Dews too. I need to protest that. Stop. I have Mountain Dew in the cart, but something about it, I test it to see if it's cold, and it just wins me over. I only want the top of it. You ever just want the top of a soda? No? Where you just drink like the first 4 ounces and you throw it away. I got a bad habit of that. But I don't like when people do it at my house to my drinks, though. There's something about that. There's something about that. Because I guess theirs are free, and I'm at least paying for mine. But that's a whole nother. I don't even know how I got on that. What's before I bring my co-host back on? Oh, the National Labor Board vetoed Northwestern University. They will not let them form a union. Some of you might have forgot. The players up there was trying to form a union, like this is the garbage workers or something, and they said, "No, that's not going to work." I never thought it was going to work anyway. NCAA has too much power. And for you ladies, they have officially started producing the ADDYI. Now, I don't know how they're pronouncing that. The Addy, it is the equivalent of the male Viagra pill. It has been approved, and they will start offering prescriptions for it. It's supposed to boost the sexual desire in women. It will be a daily pill, and they're just warning you it won't have the same effect as Viagra has for men. So I don't know what that means, but there you go. Women always want what men got. We finally gave y'all something too, so y'all can stop complaining and shut up. But it's called the ADDYI or ADDYI. Or whatever. What's going to be so funny is when the woman stops and say, "Hey, I got to go take my Addy-eye. Give me a second." And the man going to probably be turned off and leave by then. Because it's just not going to sound the same, is it? Like, what am I getting into? Y'all acting like, okay, all y'all are 50 in here. It's more 50-year-olds in here than it is people under 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's only 4 people in here under the age of 40. So, no, you own it and you just saying it's okay. They're gonna have commercials. I can't wait to see them shoot them commercials. Cause they have that little attractive lady doing the foot. Cause they always show it doing sports. It's the only time I see the male enhancement commercials when you're watching a sporting event. And the lady laying on the bed with a little sundress, and it's whenever you're ready, just take your pill. And most of the guys' wives don't even look like that. So if they look like that, they probably wouldn't need the pill in the first place. That's part of it. Nobody wants to talk about this. I see. Everybody when you talk about sex and religion, everybody hides. I tell you. Well, let's get back to the money. Floyd Mayweather got a $5 million car. Let's see Floyd's car. Let everybody see what $5 million worth of automobile looks like. And you tell me, Big Kenny, I'm going to bring Big Kenny and Truth back on. If you have $4.8 million, this is what you can drive. One of only like 6 cars in the world. It looks like a Lamborghini that everything just kind of flips up. Is that not what y'all are getting?
Looks like a transformer.
Looks like a Lotus to me.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, something that I've seen that just everything flips up.
Everything flips up.
And it looks like a waist. If it doesn't fly, I just can't imagine. Are those wings? Can I?
No, it's just it goes 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds.
Irrelevant.
Right.
So
you're not really able to drive it on the street.
Yeah.
So it's just something you buy when you want to jerk off a lot of money, and you're a guy like Floyd Mayweather that says, "Hey, I got a lot of money. Look at me." and yeah, we get it, Floyd. Maybe you're rich, duh. You know what I mean? Come on, man. Move on to the next chapter. Do something. Send a kid to college, maybe.
But on the other hand, his fall guy got it in the wheel.
Hey, yeah, maybe
$4.8 million.
And we weren't on earlier when you were talking about the female Viagra. Male Viagra actually has a physical effect on men, increasing blood flow. This female Viagra affects women's brains. It's supposed to get to their pleasure centers to make them want to have sex more. And the advertisement says that for some women, it may increase the desire to have sex. So basically, this female Viagra is the peel version of that car Floyd bought. It's really a useless product. And if you got invented by somebody who's you just need some money and I can spend some on this because
so it goes to their brain,
right? I mean, and they've had that in liquid form. It's called vodka. For years. You know, if you want to get her in the mood, get her a glass of wine and put on some Barry White.
And then it doesn't even matter if she wants it or not. You just take it.
I did.
Hey, they give it to me.
I did make it out to the movies last week. I watched Straight Out of Compton. I gave it a C plus.
A C at the very
It was, you know, the best part was Ice Cube's son did good for something I've never seen him do. He did a pretty decent job acting, but I don't know about.
But all he had to do was act like Ice Cube's son. You know what I'm saying? That's hey, we need you to go in there and act like you act when you doing what you do at home. Hold on, I'm gonna get in the car, cuz. I'm gonna get in the car. Yeah, exactly. Do that. That's genius.
Oh man! And Ryan Seacrest will be hosting the late night coverage of the Olympics, so we won't have to look at the facelift of Bob Costas this year.
And you don't have to
Botox. He won't have to get Botox and stay up all night.
And you don't have to worry about that water. I looked at that water on TV and got a rash. So
we'll be back for the Sports Joc Show in just
warm summer's evening on a train bound for nowhere. I met up with a gambler.
Hold on. We bringing M Chuck on. We need something. We need something. M Chuck don't even know what that is right there. And we find something else for M Chuck because she
hey, maybe M Chuck needs to be brought up to speed.
She can kind of do like that. That was her first job, a pole dancer, before she got a part in The Lion King. Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc, Wayne Gandy. We have somebody online that is we are very familiar with. Nah, I'm not as familiar as Big Kenny is with her, but we go back.
But then again, how many men are, right?
Survivor's Remorse actress Miss Erica Ash is on the line. Good morning to you, Erica.
Good morning, guys.
Hi, Erica.
Good morning.
Hi.
She acts so civilized and educated online, and then when you see her in person, she gives you that. She gives you that M Chuck. That is her character's name.
Right. Yeah. I hope you're lit.
M Chuck on the show. Congratulations! Thank you for inviting me out the other night.
I'm so glad y'all came.
I see y'all gonna have another great year. Just real quickly before we talk to Miss Ash, this is the second year of Survivor's Remorse. This show is loosely based on LeBron James and one of his friends, Maverick Carter's life growing up. This is the second year. Cast of characters, including Tashina Arnold, isn't that her name? Tashina Arnold.
Correct.
Mike Epps, and some up-and-coming actresses and actors. It's based on a guy that's he hasn't just got into the NBA. His name is Cam Calloway. He's coming to his big money time in his contract. He's moved here to Atlanta, where the show is filmed. Erica plays his sister, who acts like all big sisters and want to boss you around and tell you what to do. M Chuck, and this season, from some of the outtakes that I saw, she's gonna be working the chain gang. But I'll ask her that as we talk.
Sounds like when she used to sit in with us.
Miss Ash, good morning. How has the show been? I mean, since the premiere, what have you been up to?
The reception for the show, the premiere, was absolutely amazing. We were trending within the first 5 minutes of airing, which is pretty awesome. And we've been getting some really great feedback on it, and it's only getting better from the first episode. So it's a really exciting time. I'm really happy.
And this character, M Chuck, Mary Charles Calloway, tell me about her growth this year.
Well, I think you're going to see M Chuck being a lot more vulnerable this year. She's still going to be the same, good old tough ass kicking M Chuck, but you're going to see a little bit of her softer side. And I think M Chuck starts to scratch the surface of why she's so angry this season. So you get a little bit of a peek inside what's going on in her head and what's actually making her tick. And you might see a little action, a little M-Chuck action this season as well. So that's something fans have actually been asking for, perverts. And you're going to get...
Just say me. Just say me. Right. You don't have to... everybody knows who's the perv on this show.
Yeah.
Now, we know that LeBron James is the executive producer of the show. Recently, it was reported that he plans on sending 1,000 children to college.
Yes.
How do you feel about that? Have you guys discussed it?
Well, as long as it doesn't dip into my money.
Amen.
You fully support it, huh? You're pro-education.
I think that's amazing coming from where he comes from, Akron, Ohio, a place that he and Maverick refer to as the bottom. I think that's amazing that, you can have the status that he has and reach the height that he has, and not only reach back to help your own, but, to help so many children who are at a disadvantage. So, I think it's very, very noble, and I don't think a lot of people would be willing to do that. And I know he's putting up quite a bit of his own money to do that, along with getting sponsors and things like that. So, I'm pretty proud. I'm pretty proud that that's the guy that I work for.
Well, congratulations, first of all. It's the truth here, Erica. I remember seeing you for the first time. My sister and I were in New York, and you were on Broadway, and Baby It's You, and I've been a huge fan of yours ever since. Congratulations on the trending. I'm not sure what if the Sports Joc is aware of what that accolade actually means, but do you know what it means when somebody's trending, Sports Joc?
No, okay. I don't know what
trending. He doesn't care. I don't think he cares.
He doesn't care.
Y'all are talking about it. It's trending.
For other people who might be listening who do care, tell them about it.
So inform me what trending means.
Well, look, it means that there are enough people in the world talking about it that you're on Twitter and you're now Twitter famous, and your hashtag is really,
Okay. Like a Kim Kardashian butt shot.
You breaking the internet. Yeah. Erica Ash is breaking the internet. How about that?
Right.
Gotcha.
But I do have one thing for you, so congrats on all that. But I saw you the other day on Dish Nation. I just want to know why you're calling in to our show and you didn't come in.
You know what?
What?
They had you guys do it on a Monday, and by Monday I was already gone.
Okay.
I was only there from Wednesday to Sunday.
Okay. Well, I'll understand.
Yeah, I had to get back because I've got a TV interview out here in LA. Otherwise, I would have been right there punching Big Kenny in the mouth.
with your feet.
With my feet.
Well, Erica, do you get the feeling that the show is kind of moving past people watching like, LeBron started the show? Because it seemed like the first year it was everybody's, LeBron got this show coming on, and not really giving the show its credit.
Yeah, I definitely feel like he was the draw at first, and it's because we have so many new up-and-comers in the show. But I feel like the cast has really, come together and is showing out, and that's why people are being drawn into the second season. Like, people, there are established favorite characters, there are established favorite episodes, and it's LeBron is always going to, be a part of that, of course, but I think we are keeping the focus because of the work that we're doing, and that's something that I'm really, really proud of.
All right. Okay.
Erica, this is the second season. This is the second season for Survivor's Remorse, and now I believe it's Showtime has come out with a show called Ballers. Do you think that that's it part and parcel to the success of Survivor's Remorse, that they're trying to show more behind the scenes, day-to-day lives of professional athletes?
Well, I don't think specifically Survivor's Remorse, but I think, it's just the general curiosity that people have about sports figures' lives off the court. You can go to ESPN and see a game anytime, but people want to know what happens when they get home after they've thrown a game, or when they get home after they've lost or won. When they want to know. I wanted to be on that plane after Steph Curry and then won. I wanted to see what the turn-up looked like, So I think that there's just this general intrigue about the personal lives of famous people. That's why these reality shows are winning right now. you know.
What projects do you have coming up before we let you go?
Well, I've got 3 shows out this fall. Real Husbands of Hollywood aired earlier this past week. It's going to be on Tuesdays on BET. On Saturdays, Stars is Survivor's Remorse. And then there's a brand new show that I am shooting for NBC called Shades of Blue, and it's actually a cop drama. So it's veering a little bit away from the comedy that I normally do, and I'm getting into some serious acting, which is something I've been looking forward to doing for a while now. So I'm really excited about that. And that show stars Ray Liotta and Jennifer Lopez.
I am so happy. Now you can pick up the bill.
We're so proud of you, Erica. I'm so proud of you.
I am proud of you. And,
thank you, guys.
Speaking of comedy, you still hitting the stage?
You know what? I haven't been as much, but I've not lost the interest. So once things settle down, just a little bit.
That was not the right answer, I take it.
Wayne, I miss the booze. I need that to keep me humble.
Yeah, nothing keeps you humble. It's people booing your show.
I'm like, I got a job, nigga. No.
She said it. Yeah, I did.
We all looked at
where was the button? Where was the button at Mason Gill? Where was the button?
Ready with me.
You had it for Jesus.
Okay.
Well, thank you for calling in, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. And next time I'm in town, I'm definitely going to stop by you guys.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Survivor's Remorse, 9:30s on Saturdays, Stars. For you people with computers, I'm quite sure y'all will just YouTube it or Google or whatever, or trend it. Whatever you do with your computers. Miss Erica Ash, what'd she say? Real Husbands of Hollywood, Survivor's Remorse, and a new show coming out, Shades of Blue, on NBC with Ray Liotta. You know, he's probably going to play the gangster. Does he play any other role other than...
You know, that's why that union thing didn't pass at Northwestern. Because it's too close to Chicago. Hey, look, we got the unions over here. We don't need no college guys involved.
And Jennifer Lopez and Erica Ash. The one thing I liked about it, last year they tried to drive home that her character was a lesbian. Right. A little too much. At least through the first 2 episodes I saw, they were not focused on that.
It wasn't just about her sexuality.
Yeah, because it was like every show last year they were trying to make sure you knew that was her character's role. I got it the first time. She likes women, so.
And so do you.
And for men, I think they hear that anyway the first time. Like, oh, okay, I got that.
Yeah.
You know, that never goes away.
I kind of missed that part about the show myself. Her and the girl on girl, but she said that may come a little stronger, so I'll be tuning in.
I hope they don't turn her out. We'll be back. More than Sports Joc Show. 888-926-7562 right after this.
Yeah, I learned the game from William Wesley. You can never check me. Back to back for the that didn't get the message. Back to back like I'm on the cover of Lethal Weapon. Back to back like I'm Jordan 96, 97. Whoa, very important and very pretentious. When I look back, I might be mad that I gave this attention. Yeah, but it's weighing heavy on my conscience. Yeah, if you left the boy no options.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. Thank you, Miss Erica Ash. As I said, Real Husbands of Hollywood's Survivor's Remorse and Shades of Blue, she says, coming up in the fall. All our favorite shows are about a month away from returning to the airways. Speaking of returning, the AP poll put out its top lists of colleges. Preseason poll, Ohio State sitting at the top. Ohio State was also at the top of the coaches poll. AP poll is 1 at Ohio State, 2 TCU, 3 Alabama, 4 the Baylor Bears, 5 the Michigan State Spartans, 6 the Auburn Tigers, War Eagle, 7 the Oregon Ducks, 8 the USC Trojans, 9 the Bulldogs of Georgia, 10 FSU. That is your top 10 preseason AP poll. That really doesn't mean anything because the games have to be paid. They're just going on speculation and who returned, but it gives you a sense of where people may be. Former NFL quarterback Eric Kramer former Bear, former Lion, former Falcon, former Charger, injured himself last week in an attempted suicide, just like his playing career, just average. I mean, hey, that's how he played. He was just an average quarterback. Can't even carry out a suicide attempt. How sorry of a quarterback are you? You couldn't hit the receiver. I guess you couldn't hit a vital organ.
You had one job.
I mean, why y'all? Are you feeling sympathy? I mean, you know.
Have you ever felt like a failure before?
I mean, you can't even do this right.
I'm saying.
You got to go explain your kids that I hurt myself trying to kill myself. What kind of conversation?
How you get that boo-boo, Daddy?
His wife said he's been suffering from depression for a while, so hopefully this might shock him into want to live. I mean, there are some good things about living. Doesn't seem to be a lot of things good about dying.
There are some good things about living. Number one, not being dead. That's pretty much like where it starts, and then everything else is gravy. I mean, dead is not anything.
For you Falcon fans, I know it was pleasure for Calvin Benjamin, the wide receiver for the Panthers, to be lost for the year. He tore his ACL earlier in the week in practice. The Cardinals lost their D tackle Corey Peters to an ACL, and the Dolphins lost Louis Delmas, their safety, to an ACL. As I said, we have to wait to all the season to see who's hurt. Some of these injuries, Calvin Benjamin being out for the Panthers, really put them in a bind. He was their top receiver, and the target they went and got last year for Cam and him to grow. So right now he's out for the year. And Eli Manning says that those reports are false, that he wanted to be the highest paid quarterback in the league. He doesn't know where those reports came from. He only wants $21 million, not $22 million. So those are false reports, Big Kenny.
I'm saying, and who would start such a rumor? Yeah, I mean, you know, hey, get it straight, guys. I don't want to be a ruler of the world. I just want to be the ruler of Earth.
So Eli said, and I believe Eli wouldn't put out, he don't even have that kind of, that is not something a Manning doesn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't put that. He'd probably be talking about, I want to run a certain play before we talk about money. But Eli does not want to be the man. Brittany Griner, her and Glory Johnson once again are in the news.
Stay in the news.
The judge has denied Glory Johnson's request for $20,000 a month from Brittany in their annulment settlement. I don't even know where you came up with that kind of number. Brittany is not making that kind of money.
It's female hurt feelings. That's where she came up with the number. When you got two? Yeah, exactly. At $20,000 a month or $14.2 million a month or whatever it is they come up with in their minds when they got their friends around them. Like, girl, you know she making a whole bunch of money. Yeah, I'm gonna get some of that money.
How long were they married?
$20,000 a month.
A month.
Yes, it was 30 days. That's why they call it annulment, because it only lasted 30 days. Right. You're not going to get $20,000 a month. Brittany Griner don't make that kind of money.
We don't even have any kids together.
And I don't. Kids.
But she got a baby.
Yeah, but
it's just not together, right?
We're not. Michael Jordan won his suit last week. $8.9 million they owe Mike for this advertisement. Basically, Mike said this was a slander of his name. Being associated with that $2 coupon has cost this supermarket, Delmonico's, or what is that? Dominic's.
A Chicago staple.
$8.9 million Mike won. There's nothing Mike can't win in Chicago. You should have settled out of court. Going to court, the judge was in Mike's limo. I mean, we're talking about in Chicago.
We did that.
You talking about can't get a fair trial. I mean, come on, Big Ken. Let's be real, man.
The judge was like, Mike, you want to come up here and do this? you want to slam the gavel? You can if you want to now. And all of the people in the jury box were like, not guilty. Well, it's not a criminal trial. Shut up when we're talking about Michael Jordan. Give him the money.
I'm sitting here like, what is this? You're not gonna. This man won't lose in that city. You sell though. This man is not gonna lose
anything. He can't
this
lose
man
anything.
He is Chicago.
Michael Jordan.
That's your first thought before you even think about how much money he's made. You think Chicago Bulls. That's the first thought in your head.
Michael Jordan was filmed punching a pregnant woman. Chicago's like, but what did she do? Let's just explore this.
Yeah, come on,
and so what's he gonna do with the 8.9 million? Let it ride. Put it on the hard six.
Because he got therapy for that.
Come on, man. He probably wasn't even aware of the coupon. His lawyer probably was reading the paper. Hey, man, you know what? We can get about $10 million for this here. Yeah, they running what? Like, you know.
Fan sent it to him.
And Mike was like, I don't need no $10 million. Craps. Okay, let's sue him. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and sue him this time.
Michael Jordan is not losing a case in
Chicago.
Come on, in Chicago. You get life for crashing into his car or something up there. I mean, the man is Chicago. He's
royalty.
Chicago bigger than anybody. It's Chicago. I mean, it's almost.
Michael Jordan runs up in the bank. Michael Jordan runs up in the bank with a gun, and the manager of the bank goes, "Everybody get on the ground. Just do what he says." How could you resist this man?
I mean, I didn't get that. Andrew, former NBA Nets, actually played for a couple of teams. Andre Karolinko, for his homecoming gift, got an AK. I guess you need an AK wherever he moved to. He went back to Russia, and that's a home staple.
It's a pretty gun.
That is a home staple over in Russia. Putin probably autographed it. Karolinko has decided to leave the NBA and go back to the Russian league and play basketball. About 6'10".
When you cross customs in Russia, they give you one of these. Like, they stamp your passport and then give you an AK.
Thank you for all that U.S. money that you brought back here. Thank you, Andre. And Roy Jones Jr. actually asked Russian President Putin for Russian citizenship. This is Roy Jones. This is what hits to the heads will do. It'll have you asking one of the a man you really don't just want to mess with. See, them kind of people you just leave alone, man. You don't really talk much about them.
Putin was like, "Who is Roy Jones Jr.? Who is? He's a rich boxer, or let him stay. Let him stay."
We love boxing over there. They love that boxing.
They love athletes.
Yeah, that's their thing. They are the first people to use steroids. The Russians.
I will break you.
And it was gymnasts. It was the girls.
Figure skaters and stuff like that. But Roy Jones Jr. He has a match coming up.
He knocked somebody out last week.
Oh, okay. I knew he was still in the ring. He's what, 45, 46? There was a time, and I'm telling you, he got so bored that he was playing basketball in one city at noon and fighting in another city at 8 p.m.
No competition.
He couldn't find anybody in the light heavyweight division to even challenge him. And he didn't start losing until he started doing that craziness.
Right.
He lost focus.
Yeah,
and then he started his label Bodyhead. But they did have a jam, though. That song.
Roy Jones had a rap song.
You got to find it with the Young Bloods and what was it, Magic or one of them dudes from No Limit. It was a hot little cut. It used to get I smoke.
Got you.
I drink. I'm supposed to stop, but I can't.
It's really. Okay.
I'm a dog. I love. And I'm addicted to money, cars, and clothes. Do it big, then. Yeah. Do it big, then.
When we come back, we'll find out who's the cutest couple. Kobe and Taylor Swift, or Drake and Serena? That and much more right after this break. Look how they looking like, ugh. Oh, that sounds wrong. 888-926-7562. More the Sports Joc Show in just a second.
You're listening to the Sports Joc Show with Wayne Gandy.
Yeah. Nigga, y'all done put that fire together.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc, Wayne Gandy. We're having some technical difficulties with our equipment. Our mixing board won't slide. The volume won't slide down. But we're back. Just before, so in case I forget, Erica, thank you for calling in, Miss Erica Ash. I'm sitting here with the funny man, Big Kenny, and it's Renee Jemison. The truth is in the building. Justin Wilson, IndyCar driver. If you haven't seen, bad crash, a piece of scrap metal hit him in the head as he was going around the Indy track. He's in a coma at the moment. Can we see that video? He's hit by a piece of...
Might have hit that bumper pod that was sitting in the middle of the track. Who we see here.
Watch for the blue and silver car here go through. There goes Justin Wilson, and then look, locks up. That's Chip Ganassi's reaction.
As you see the car that hit the wall,
car yellow and red is Sage Karamat.
A piece of debris came off of that car and flew and hit Justin Wilson as he was driving by. So Justin Wilson is not in that car. He got hit in another car by a piece of debris. As you know, Indy cars, they are not fully covered. Their head is sticking out in the middle, real low. They have on helmets, but he is in a coma at the moment. Now, like any incident, they're saying maybe they will put him in a total closure. An IndyCar rider, been around, 70, 80 years. They finally are going to put him in a full closure. But the debris from that car that hit the wall hit him in the head.
And I don't think the full closure is the answer because those cars run on basically like jet fuel. Yeah. So there's a fire and now they can't get out. Concerns. Right. So
it's probably the last thing on what causes death in this sport.
Maybe we could stop going 400 miles an hour in an open cockpit. Maybe that's a solution. Right. Why don't we just stop going 400 miles an hour in cars? How about that?
Oh, Kobe Bryant jumped on stage with Taylor Swift.
And who has it?
It was Kobe's 37th birthday. Taylor Swift seems to be on some kind of famous people hunt. She brings up the world, the girls' soccer team. She's had
Tom Brady
and different people everywhere she goes on her tour. She brought the Mamba up.
When people stop listening to your music.
She still has that boy body.
12-year-old boy body.
Tall, slim, flat in the front and back. Like my man said in what's the movie with Will Ferrell? He said
Anchorman?
No.
Not that far.
Blaze of Glory. He told the dude, you still got a body like Ken, the Barbie doll.
That's exactly what she looks like.
Oh, that's a funny movie. But that is the Mamba jumping on stage. Let's see if he can get back on the court.
Yeah, why you hugging skinny white girl?
What can you do with
what your crossover do?
The genetic code of Michael Jordan right there. Kobe Bryant. Serena, Drake, caught in some restaurant snuggling up. I don't know if this was just for TMZ, but 0 to 100, or whatever all them songs he's saying, they hugged up. And
hold on, when was this?
This was like
somebody feeling some kind of way.
No, I'm saying she said her phone was off. Was why she didn't return the text message. But now I see it all booed up with Drake.
Drizzy Drake.
Hey Drake, I ain't Meek Mill, homeboy. I mean, I ain't finna lose the battle. You see what I'm saying?
She liked rap. She used to date Common.
Hey, I got a hot 16 for her. Trust me.
Drake was at her match. I want to say, what was the last major she won?
He wasn't in France.
Wimbledon. I think he was over in Wimbledon. So this might have been something that's been budding for a while, and he has been talking with a lot of confidence. Not just because of his albums, but he had.
You know what? It was time for me to cut her loose anyway. You know what I'm saying?
It was time.
You bow down. Oh no, I'm just saying I ain't bowing out. I'm just saying once you drive the car for a while, you get a new one. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm gonna text her right after the show, though. I at least want an explanation.
She lied about her phone.
Yeah, talking about her phone was off. I saw her check her phone in that picture.
Drizzy, Drake. They're about Drake's like 30. 28 and 5-year difference. All right, that's cool. Make some pretty little.
Didn't she twerk at Drake's condo once? I mean, why is this why is this a big deal?
Oh, I didn't know that was at the condo.
That was at Drake's condo.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
could we pull up that as research to confirm to confirm the story? We like to have.
We spent too much money on your ex.
We like to have verification.
You was over. It was over though.
No, yeah. I'm just getting my evidence together, brother.
You want alimony?
I'm a man. I'm good with it. What's going on? You understand? I'm like Slick Willie. I'm gonna have to put the pimp hand down.
Speaking of dancing, the Ravens defensive tackle Brandon Williams was caught on tape doing the Carlton at his house. You remember that dance that Fresh Prince? What is that guy name? Alfonso Ribeiro. Can we see that video? A D tackle dancing is funny. Period. Oh, you got some light feet.
That's a lot of weight moving from one side to the other. Earthquake.
Hey, that's why he in the league. He light on his feet. He can make plays.
And that tank top is fierce.
Like full force.
My goodness. All white party at the D-Line's house.
Light on his feet. You need your D tackles to get off the block.
Right. That's a selling point, and I'm light on my feet. Right.
Oh, man. Steph Curry was on Kimball talking about President Obama being a big trash talker. That's nothing new. Don't he do that every interview when he at the podium? Hey, now. Don't he stop everybody that try to interrupt him? Is it me? Let's see what Steph Curry, with that sweet jump shot, have to say about Obama.
And all that, but it's been a great journey, obviously. It hasn't gone well.
For you, next season, you've gained like 45 pounds.
Seriously. He enjoys, and obviously they're not going to trust me to drive the president around.
You don't think so? So how did it work? Who played?
It was me, my dad, Ray Allen, and the president. So it was it was a father-son team, and then Ray and the president.
Oh, you played against them?
Played against each other.
Was it competitive?
Oh, for sure.
It was?
He was, the president was talking trash.
He was?
Oh, my goodness.
How do you talk trash in golf? Like, what specifically did he say?
Well, basically, it'd be like a 4-foot putt. And in the friendly games, we're not really playing for money or betting anything. Usually it's a gimme. You pick it up.
Right.
He'd be crickets, just silent, just looking at you like, all right, you're going to mark your putt, all right, you're going to make that, put the pressure on you, that kind of deal. And,
That's Steph Curry. It's so arrogant of Obama, though, to be out golfing with great shooters. Yeah, did you hear the list? Did you hear the? Because he thinks he's a great basketball player.
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute now, Sports Joc. Hold on. No. This is my house. It's my house. No. Hold on now. Wait a minute now.
He had the secretary call. Give me some jump shooters. I want Ray Allen, Steph Curry, and just to bring a little flavor, his dad, the great Dale Curry.
Should he have gone to the bench? I mean, what are you?
Where's the love for some big men, some power forwards, man? I'd like to see Dennis Rodman in that mix.
Dennis Rodman.
He couldn't clear the security background check. He was on the phone like, no, let me putt. No, let me do this. Let me do this. They were on some Mr. President. We can't, The Democratic Party would be done if you're in a picture with Dennis Rodman. You want to start war with North Korea? That's how you do it.
No way. No matter how they tried to squeeze it, they couldn't make it work.
No, wait a minute. No. But I know you're the president.
They could have got some information from him about Kim Jong.
No.
Really? Nothing that made any sense. United we stand, provided we fall. Do you know what he did? All of this was already documented, sir.
Oh man, that's so arrogant. He don't got all the good jump shooters.
Wait a minute.
Can we get some love?
Let me say this. If there's any time you can be a little bit arrogant, being the ruler of the free world, it's kind of like one of those times. Like, look, I'm the president. Get your daddy and your mom out here. Let's play some golf.
Sound like a little envy over there, Sports Joc. You just mad they didn't
I'm just saying, they never give love to the big fellows, man. You know,
you specifically,
Tim Duncan and people like that. They great players.
You know, Tim Duncan face in the background.
You
forget about him until it's time for him to, shoot.
Three-point shooters, because he was asking for tips every time they got on the cart. How you make that jumper? Just trying to get some.
Well, he's got the CIA taking DNA out of their veins and giving it to him, so now he got a better 3-point jumper.
Oh man, but the show's over.
Wow,
that quick.
Oh.
We are in the
just
ocean.
like me and Serena.
Oh.
The truth is, he will throw your ass in the ocean. It's time to wrap things up on the Sports Joc Show with Wayne Gandy.
When you hear the sounds of the ocean, it gives the Sports Joc just a minute to vent. No ocean candidate. I never will be fake and just try to dig up somebody to throw in the ocean. I did have a report that I wanted to pass along to you. Between January 1st and June 30th, 19,000 people have died in this country in auto accidents. 52% of them are attributed to texting on the phone. We look for solutions for cancer and we look for solutions for heart disease. We're all in control of something very simple, and that is texting on that phone. That's 19,000 people in the first 6 months of 2015 have passed away in auto accidents. 52% have been attributed to someone on the phone texting. And usually when you pass somebody in traffic and you look over to your left and they're driving bad, it's because they are texting. Just take that food for thought. Enjoy your week. Enjoy your Monday. We'll be back next week for Vic Kenny, The Truth, and my whole cast of characters. Peace.